Hey there, YouTube. We're going to jump in real quick, get a real quick Ukraine update here on this Thursday, 6:20 p.m. on a Thursday, PST. We're going to get an update on Ukraine. There has been a major attack by Ukraine in the Crimea area, just partially destroying a bridge. The counteroffensive is ongoing. They're not, Zelensky is not just forcing it in there, right? He's making sure all the preparations are ready. He's got the lube on the nightstand, he's got the music playing, doing a little foreplay first, doing a little probing here and there, right? We haven't seen the full thrust yet, so keep your goddamn socks on, but take your pants off, because the party's about to start. Damn, I'm good at this.
Officials in Kherson and Crimea say a Ukrainian missile has hit a bridge connecting.
Public Paul Limited, you're not wrong, buddy, but there are gradations, okay? Mike Figurino can come over to my house and we can have a nice conversation. My wife will cook him a meal. Vosh, I'm calling the police if he knocks on my door. FBI, he's over here.
The two regions. So the Chongar Bridge is known as the gate to Crimea that Russia annexed in 2014. Crimea's governor says the bridge was struck by a storm shadow. I
think he's okay. Amazing atheist. I've seen him, with a lot of bog standard neoliberal takes. I don't really follow him that closely, but his circle seems to be more, Elizabeth Warren than Bernie Sanders, if you know what I mean.
No missile. We'll bring in Ali Hashim. He's joining us now from Mariupol. What more can you tell us about the strike on the bridge, Ali?
DSP needs to see a therapist.
Yes, Darine. Well, this bridge and another two bridges around it are vital routes from Kherson towards the Crimean Peninsula and
Okay, Panda Man. I haven't really followed the Amazing Atheist too recently. I've only seen some interviews, I think, like a month ago. So, grain of salt with my comments on who he is, on what I think about him. I need to see more of him. I don't have time. I don't have any fucking time.
And it's been used also as a supply route for the army and for normal people who go from
DSP needs to fumble his way to a hospital.
Side. This was before what the Russians called a special operation. This was the border point between Ukraine and Russia, and the targeting of this bridge.
Good question,
today,
Cam Goblin.
As per the Russian officials, might have also affected.
Cam Goblin asking, he's wondering if this guy has permission to be here. Thank you, Cam Goblin, Cam Goblin, by the way, lives in Ukraine, but is never afraid to be critical of the Ukrainian government, and pointing out that the Ukrainian government has been kicking out journalists that are critical, right? Or are, in some cases they're breaking some rules, like, hey, don't show this location until X amount of days, and they broke that rule, right? That's the case in some cases, but Ukraine trying to control the narrative here. This is what happens in a war.
Another bridge. Now, there is no clarification in this regard, but one of the Russian officials who posted on Telegram about the news of the hitting of the bridge said that bridges were affected. Now, we know that there are 3 bridges there.
I think we can expect follow-up strikes as well, but I think it was intentional to not destroy the bridge completely, because I think Ukraine wants to kind of nudge people out of there. Hey, you should probably get out of this area. We're coming. This is happening. You're probably going to want to get out of there. And as I mentioned in the Discord, it's not because Ukraine is going to come by and do Bucha-style massacres across Crimea. But look, Russia has already made getting drinking water difficult in areas of Crimea. The food situation is going to get really desperate when more and more of these bridges are blown up. So I think this is kind of Ukraine letting people know, get out of here while you can.
And this is the shortest way from Kherson towards Crimea, and it's also the shortest way from Ukraine towards
I think Turkey is the
Donetsk
best candidate
and,
for a mediator.
Mariupol, the cities of Donetsk and Mariupol. So this is the importance of this bridge. And the main issue now is that the Russians have decided, as we understood, to divert the routes towards
a lot of rumors about Putin.
other ways in order
I don't believe
to
any of them.
repair the bridge after it's being affected by the strike.
And what's the significance of the type of weapon that was used in the strike?
Storm Shadow? Storm Shadow.
Well, over the past few days, the Russian officials, mainly the Russian defense minister, has warned that the Ukrainians are preparing for
Storm
an attack.
Shadow would have blown up that bridge. I don't think it was a Storm Shadow.
The Shadow Storm missile or another American missile on Crimea. And
Dude, that was awesome. Do you see it burning the ground? The ground catches on fire after the missile launch. Look at this.
The Shadow
on the right.
Storm missile or another American missile on Crimea. And the defense minister, Sergei Shoigu, warned that this is going to lead to a Russian retaliation by hitting Ukrainian decision-making centers. And at the same time, this is going to involve implicate the UK and the US in this war. Now, we don't know how this is going to have its impact on the war, but what we know is that this is part, and it's in the context of the counteroffensive the Ukrainians have been launching since days, and it's also it could affect a possible Russian offensive that could be in preparation in response to the counteroffensive.
Okay, thank you so much. Ali Hashim reporting from Mariupol.
Yeah. So it's, like I said, get your pants down, but don't party quite yet. We're seeing it. They're doing this right. It's really amazing because Zelensky he doesn't have a lot of these these like negative impulses that a lot of these, corrupt or egotistical kind of, leaders have. He really understands how much time he has to achieve this goal, and he's really putting the safety of his soldiers and and of course trying to keep as much hardware and gear, on his side as possible, not destroyed. And man, I got to say, I've just never seen, in my lifetime, I've never seen a guy quite like this. It's really quite an interesting character, this Zelensky. So this is just, camera footage of the bridge getting attacked. So we're seeing multiple. Could have been an explosion from something that was on the bridge. But I don't think it was Storm Shadow, unless they're firing multiple Storm Shadows. I feel like a Storm Shadow would have left a bigger hole.
Damaged the Chonhar Bridge on the 22nd of June, early in the morning. Not only the main bridge was hit at Chonhar, but also an unused old one. The strikes on these ground lines of communication may create severe logistical challenges for the invading Russian forces in southern Ukraine and help the ongoing Ukrainian counteroffensive in the Zaporizhzhia Oblast. The Chonhar Bridge connects occupied Crimea with Kherson and Zaporizhzhia Oblasts. It is an important transportation route that Russia used to supply its forces in southern Ukraine via occupied Crimea.
That's exactly what you want to do, right? Because that's what is that telling the people, the Russians mainly, that are occupying Ukrainian homes in some cases in Crimea. Yep, time to go, because they could have hit the Kerch Bridge again. They could have done that, but they didn't. This is telling me that, yep, make it happen. Get out of there while you can.
There are 3 key vehicular bridges and 2 railway bridges connecting Crimea to mainland Ukraine in 3 areas. The Isthmus near Armyansk, with bridges across the North Crimean Canal, Chonhar town with bridges across the Sivash Lagoon, and Hekichesk with a bridge connecting the town with Crimea's Arabat Spit. These strategic connection points play a vital role in the Russian military logistics network, facilitating the transportation between occupied Crimea and Kherson Oblast. Crimea relies
You think so, Chem Goblin? I mean, we are seeing people leave, but we're not seeing like a mass exodus of like, entire areas being emptied.
on the land bridge in southern Ukraine.
It's going to be so shitty for the people in Crimea. It really is. The water and food situation, the bombing and all the, all the fighting that's going to be happening. What's the current shit show of today? Well, you missed our sub update. Now we're covering Russia's attempt at relevancy, a desperate grasp at, oh, we're a superpower too.
Ukraine, which Russia seized during the early stages of its full-scale invasion of Ukraine, as well as the Kerch Strait Bridge constructed by Russia after the occupation of Crimea to establish a link with Russia's Krasnodar Krai. The devastating strike on the Chonhar Bridge is likely an attempt to isolate the battlefield in the Zaporizhia Oblast, where the Ukrainian counteroffensive is unfolding. Russia uses two key supply routes to support its forces in the Zaporizhia Oblast. The first supply route leads from Russia via occupied Mariupol, while the second one leads from Russia via occupied Crimea and the Chonhar Bridge. If the Chonhar Bridge does not function, one of the two strategic supply routes supporting Russian forces in the Zaporizhia Oblast becomes compromised. The damage to the Chonhar Bridge may disrupt Russian logistics and make it harder for Russian troops to get enough ammunition in a timely manner. The Mariupol supply routes are within range of HIMARS strikes. Previously, on the 11th of June 2023, the Ukrainian partisan...
So that area, that's what he's trying to say. So that area, this right here is supplying these positions right here. And of course, Ukraine, it's expected Ukraine, we're seeing probing attacks. That's what these little green areas are. That's, territory that's been taken back. We're seeing Ukraine doing probing attacks here. They might go for Mariupol. They might go for Melitopol. Right. It's just about, where the opportunity is at and the timing of all that. But yeah, so that's, this bridge was providing resources to these positions over here, further hindering it. I don't know, maybe Ukraine should take some of those Storm Shadow missiles and just blow up a random Russian apartment building somewhere. That would probably slow down the Russian military quite a bit if you think about it. Pretty good idea.
Via occupied Crimea and the Chonhar Bridge. If the Chonhar Bridge does not function, one of the two strategic supply routes supporting Russian forces in the Zaporizhia Oblast becomes...
I'm just saying, they haven't tried it yet, right? Maybe they should give it a shot. Russia seems to be all about it.
Compromised. The damage to the Chonhar Bridge may disrupt Russian logistics and make it harder for Russian troops to get enough ammunition in a timely manner.
That's right. Okay.
The Mariupol supply routes are within range of HIMARS strikes.
That was mostly green.
Previously, on the 11th of June 2023, the Ukrainian partisan underground destroyed a railway bridge on a line between Zaporizhia's Melitopol and Crimea. Last fall, Ukraine blew up the Kerch Bridge, which connects Russia's Krasnodar.
Yeah, I've had some problems with the Vanguard. They seem to be pretty friendly with the Brianna Joy Gray style, the Hill style spin. I don't know what you would call it. It's not accurate. The reporting that they do. They'll report accurate facts, but their analysis is always kind of interestingly skewed.
Krasnodar Krai with occupied Crimea. Since then, Russia has repaired its vehicular part, but the railway traffic from Krasnodar Krai was never restored.
Oof. Just the molten metal flying around after that explosion.
And this is CCTV footage of allegedly strikes on the Chonhar Bridge this morning emerged on Russian Telegram channels.
Yeah, if anyone, honestly, if anyone is trying to come at you with the argument that Russia was provoked into, preemptively invading Ukraine, I mean, that's just an instant, that's like, no, you're either ignorant or you're intentionally getting it wrong, right? And the people that are plugged in are so online, they got their own show, they're hosts of their own show, they're following the news. And then they have this intentionally skewed bullshit argument about how, Russia, Russia wants a buffer zone, and the person who signed the document that gave Crimea to Ukraine was drunk and all this bullshit. You're like, what is the motivation? What is the motivation, right? They're not getting rubles. I mean, shut up about that shit. Well, they're not getting fucking paychecks from Putin, right? So why? What do you get out of that?
And the
I still
trouble
haven't figured
already
that out.
started. There are big queues at the Perekop checkpoint on the border of Crimea and Kherson Oblast after the missile strike on the Chonhar Bridge.
So,
The waiting time is 1.5 hours.
not too bad.
This is a
See,
hint
that's
at
not-
what?
A wait time of 1.5 hours is not like a mass exodus, right?
Aldo,
Yo, we got all these new viewers coming back. Check it out. Okay, we got Lucian, Draven's Lull, Panda Man. Of course, we got the old school. We got the Chem Goblins. We got the Unsatiables. We got the Davies. Public Paul Limited. He's been here a little while. Attack on Coffee. He's a new viewer. It's you folks. People want real news. That's why you come here. I love this. It's great. Welcome to the family.
so-called governor of Kherson region, asked and walked near the Chonhar Bridge. Do you think it's a hint?
Бессмысленное действие по указке из Лондона.
One more step to having massive amounts of parasocial people giving me their money. I can't wait.
Сделанное
I'm gonna quit my
киевским
job.
режимом. Это
Blah,
ничего
blah,
не
blah, blah. He
решает
says some
для
bullshit. Blah, blah, blah.
результатов.
Oh, it solves nothing. Yada, yada, yada. There's no reason why you do this. Yada, yada, yada. Woe is me. Woe is me. Blah, 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 blah.
Bridge from a member of Ukrainian intelligence Andriy Yusov.
Ну, якщо зірки запалюють, значить це для чогось потрібно, так? А аналізувати з точки зору військової доцільності речі, які відбуваються на тимчасово окупованих територіях, я думаю, що ми будемо після того, як ці території будуть звільнені, що обов'язково станеться. А зараз триває робота, і вона буде продовжена. Це планомірна робота Сил безпеки і оборони, руху опору,
Arby's is a guilty pleasure of mine. I do like the Arby's. There's only a few out in Canada, though. At least where I'm at. Apparently, there's more than a few, but not near me. Okay, so if you stuck around, it's not good. You know, the quality of their meat gets worse and worse. It's turned into grainy. It's all grainy and like crumbly now. Ugh. Used to be juicy. Used to be delicious. It's gotten even worse. Okay, folks. Talk about juicy. Talk about delicious. If you stuck around, you're about to be rewarded. Okay? Pat yourself on the back for sticking around through the boring part of the stream. This is by far the most amazing footage I've seen. I mean, okay. The trench footage is amazing. The trench footage is legitimately amazing. That's the best like trench footage I've ever seen. Is if you know what I'm talking about, check out the Discord. If you don't know, I can't show it. But this is the best footage I've seen of soldiers taking soldiers prisoner. Easily the best footage I've seen of this ever. Just to break it down for you, because this is not translated. I have the first half of it translated, so we're gonna watch this whole thing, and then we'll watch the first half again with some translation. The basic gist. This is amazing, folks. Fucking hold on to your pants here. They catch a Russian, like, you know, away from the trench, like, I don't know, doing a patrol. Maybe he was out for a piss or a smoke or something, right? They catch him out, and they just, you know, they say, hey, get your ass over here, right? They got their guns out. Come over here. Guy wasn't even armed. I don't know. Maybe he was armed, and he was told to put his gun down, and they cut that part out. But anyway, he comes over there, and they're like, we're gonna put. Well, what the fuck? It's just tipped over to Metalocalypse. So they tell this Russian, we're gonna put a remote triggered grenade on your back, and you're gonna lead us to the trench. And if no funny business happens, we don't blow you up, right? It's got a limited distance. You know, if you want to come back alive, this is how you do it. So they approach, along with this Russian soldier, they approach the trench pretending to be fellow Russians, and basically just you know, with like through conversation. You think they made it up? You think this is fake? What? You think this is fake? No. This isn't fake, dude. No. Anyway, okay, I'll explain this as it goes along.
Сюда иди, подходи. Подходи.
But read this, because this is some of the only text that we're going to get here. After taking 2 Russian soldiers hostage, Ukrainian intelligence officers have managed to capture other soldiers as well. Ukrainians attached a special device, an explosive device. Oh, you think they made up the explosive device? You don't think it was a real grenade? It wasn't. It wasn't a real thing that they were going to trigger. Oh, okay, that's what he's saying.
Давай, гуманитарку сюда, давай.
But anyway, no. So they lead him. They lead the Ukrainian soldiers back into the trench, and they take all the Russians. They take all the Russians there prisoner, and then later in the video, they start getting attacked from Russian intelligence officers that were apparently further down, trying to get them. But they ended up taking like 5 or 6 Russians prisoner without firing a single shot. These guys were just caught completely ass out, and they were like, okay, I guess we're fucked.
Быстро, сука. Сюда, вниз, ко мне. Ко мне, на меня иди. Сева, силуэт. Силуэт. Сюда иди. Сюда иди, быстро.
So they're taking the first guy prisoner.
Ты сам?
The first prisoner with him, the nearby Russian trench, presenting themselves as Russian soldiers. Following this, they easily captured
Сидор, ты один? Сюда иди ко мне.
several more Russians in the trench. Russian invaders hiding in another trench located a little further away sought to shoot the intelligence officers but failed. I see. It wasn't Russian intelligence. These guys are the intelligence officers. Whatever.
Ну ты гуманитарка, сука. Иди сюда, ко мне.
So look at this guy.
Понял? Сел. Где еще кто-то? Сел, на землю садись. На землю. С тобой кто-то был еще?
So don't worry, folks. Trigger warning, but you're not. It's not going to get. Nothing real is going to happen. This isn't Russia versus. You know, this isn't Russia.
Сева, контроль.
This guy's Ukrainian.
Сколько? То есть у него там по прямой.
With that said, I have no doubt that man would use that knife if this was going a different way.
За спиной у нас, да? Да.
So he's telling them the score here. He's like, okay, this is. So the first thing he asked them is, okay, how many people are over there? How many people are in the trench? You know, how many people are actually walking around? So he confirms that information, and then he tells him, okay, this is what we're going to do. Right, we're going to put this device on your back. You're going to lead us back to your trench, and if you want to stay alive, you're going to cooperate.
Там половина побила. Сколько человек, сука? Около 40. Смотри.
So this I'm going to skip over because you can't. There's no subtitles, and you just hear them talking. But this is him explaining what I was just explaining. Well, Draven's look, they're invaders, okay, and they're doing this in the effort to take them prisoner. Does Russia, you know, put this much effort into taking Ukrainian prisoners? I highly doubt it. I don't know though. I've seen Russia take a lot of prisoners.
Вставай, все, не бойся. Вставай, просто на спину не облокачивай, все взорвется. Вставай. Можно закурить, пожалуйста?
So now he's like, can I smoke a cigarette, please?
Да кури, давай, ну все можно.
Look at this, he's trying to get the pack of cigarettes out.
Не очкуй, закуривай. Жить будешь, мы так 100 раз делали, Серега. Жизнь у тебя может быть длинная и счастливая, а может быть яркая и быстрая, понял?
Are you saying the Russians have green tape on them, or the Ukrainians have green tape on them? So the Russians shouldn't have been surprised when they were walking up.
Лучше потихоньку. Кубик.
Yeah, Draven, but we're not doing both sides here. There is a difference. With that said, yeah, Ukraine absolutely. Some of these Ukrainian soldiers, yeah, they're fucking people up. They're killing people. That's what war is. That's why Putin's a bastard. Yeah, no, look at this. Holy shit, that's a fucking stick, dude. Holy shit, that's a stick. That's not a fucking grenade. That's not a fucking, remote explosive. Holy shit, that's a fucking stick. You gotta love that, dude.
Да нет, сука, это большое. Вот прямо, вот там труп лежит.
Gonna put a remote device on your back. Okay, all right.
Пройди 50 шагов. 50 шагов. Посмотри, если там что-то, да. Послушай, просто вернись. Хорошо, давай.
This is not a movie.
Если кого-то увидишь, да, ну, иди смотри.
This is not a fucking movie. Look at this no man's land. Jesus Christ. This used to be a forest.
Давай, давай. Давай, проходи, проходи.
No, Dravenslow, you're not wrong, right? Two wrongs don't make a right. You know, there is a difference though when defending yourself from invasion versus invading,
Так, мы
right?
в украинцев переоделись, понял? Мы разведка, ветераны.
So this is the part that is not translated that I won't be able to show you today. I'll be able to, hopefully Saturday, maybe tomorrow, TVP World will do the next episode and they'll have the translated. So I'm not sure who's Russian, who's Ukrainian. You know, obviously this guy thinks he's got a remote grenade on his back. He's like, his buddy's like, why do you got a stick on your back, dude? So I think these are all Russians, and they were all like, you know, completely caught off guard. Weapons were not in hand, and the Ukrainian soldiers are taking up positions outside, and then there's a couple inside the trench as well. I think that's what's going on here. But how fucking crazy is this, dude? How crazy is this, man? You know, like you're getting, you know, you're doing your job as a Russian soldier, and then 5 seconds later, you're literally surrounded by your enemy. That's the situation right now. Oh, Satan's TV. Nice. Is that the one that like fills up with blood? Those are great. I love scary TVs.
Он ему что говорил? Впереди что ему
Hello
говорил?
from Latvia.
Тот, кто встречал только что. Мы крайний пост, понял?
I would say so,
Да.
Panda Man. There's definitely some gaps in that leadership hierarchy.
Ну, блин, вас кидают как дураков.
So now they're all just sitting, chilling, smoking cigarettes. Okay, I guess we're
Ладно,
busted. I guess
окей.
we're taken prisoner
Мы
now.
хохлы, понял?
Thanks for not wasting us
Уже
instantly.
понял, да? Мы вас перевалим сейчас, но если все будешь делать, как мы сказали, будет все нормально. Ну, ты уже у нас по факту, понял? Пойди его прими.
Ironically, Dravenslow, sometimes violence is necessary to defend oneself
Что ты,
from
батя, ранен?
those that would, you know, enslave
Батя,
us.
ранен? Колено? Проходи, посиди маленько. Куда? Вперед? Вперед?
Oh,
Ну, проходи.
okay. So I think this guy is a Russian who's approaching, and this guy is speaking to him as if he's a Russian. You'll see in a second he starts calling this guy like suka. He starts calling him bitch. So I think the ruse doesn't last very long, and he pulls his gun out and he says, "All right, get your ass over here."
Посиди маленько, тут сейчас будет работать пичка, проходи.
He's like, come on over, bud."
Иди сюда. Что ты, сука, ищешь? Руки, руки,
right here.
сука.
Shit just got real, right? Went from 0 to 100 right there, dude. Okay, yeah, we're not playing games anymore. Get your ass over here,
Проходи.
invader. No, I don't.
Иди сюда. Что ты, сука, ищешь? Руки, руки, сука.
There's a fucking difference. I mean, I don't need to speak Russian. I don't need to speak Ukrainian to know what the fuck's going on here. This is the universal language right there.
Проходи.
Come on over. Come on over.
Иди сюда.
I don't know, man.
Что ты, сука, ищешь? Руки, руки, сука.
Yeah.
Да, сука, сядь.
Guess who's not playing games anymore? Get your ass over here.
Сука, иди сюда. Ты дебил, мы хохлы, сука. Иди сюда.
Yep.
блядь. Ты понял, сука?
Whoops. Guess
Прикрывай.
we're POWs now, boys.
Чё, быстрей, помогай, тут 300-й, быстрей. Сюда.
Yeah, Dravenslow, absolutely. I mean, that's what I was joking about earlier, right? Like, I mean, what do we see Ukraine do? They go after ammo dumps, fuel dumps, bridges, points, military points of interest, right? They have never once intentionally bombed anything civilian, right? Some of their missiles have been shot out of the air and landed on civilian targets, quite tragically. that one that I think what happened in Poland on someone's house, it was like literally the worst possible, you know, out of like the worst lottery you could have won. Yeah, so that has happened, but Ukraine has never intentionally targeted a civilian, and that's why they get the fancy toys. That's why the West is happy to help, right? Doesn't make them look bad. If Ukraine was committing Bucha style massacres and bombing civilian infrastructure, none of these toys would have been given to them.
А? А где еще? Стой, заходи сюда.
Yeah, Draven. I mean, it's a complicated topic, right?
Все понял.
So this is a little disgusting. This Russian here just starts drooling.
Тут никто играться не будет. Смотри. Там пустая позиция уже. Никого нету. Да все, слюни подотри. Ты болеешь чем-то? Здоров? Зэк?
Okay. So here's where it gets hot. He's trying to, you know, probably radio,
Все, пацаны, назад.
and then they get, you know, start taking fire. I don't know if anyone was shot and killed. It doesn't appear. But I guess they weren't that close, right? I think that's return fire. You gotta love the Oakley's logo. Isn't this wild to see stuff like this in combat? You would think, oh, they're using like, you know, army made shit. No, they went to fucking Dick's Sporting Goods before they went off to war. So, I mean, these guys are absolute professionals. Ask yourself if you could hold down hostages, POWs, not hostages, but POWs, hold down POWs that, you know, you don't know what these guys are going to do. Maybe one of these guys wants to be a hero for Russia's motherland, right? You don't know what's going on. So you got to hold it down. You're not even in your own trench. You're in the enemy's trench, now receiving fire from the enemy while you're trying to secure enemy POWs, right? All of this is happening all at the same time while you're trying to reach out to your command, trying to figure out, okay, are you guys going to pick us up? Are we backing out? What are we doing? Imagine the professionalism required to maintain situational awareness while you're handling all this other stuff. I mean, it's really... You know, I mean, these guys are nuts. These guys are fucking nuts. Okay? Because, you know, a lot of militaries, they don't have the professionalism and organization to do this. They're like, just kill them, right? Just nade them and kill them. Don't try to secure anything, you know, eliminate them. So this is nuts. And the reason why they're taking this so seriously is so that they have more POWs for the exchange fund, right? This is about getting Ukrainians back into Ukraine. These guys are nuts. Absolutely bonkers.
Пойди пленных забери, троих пленных забери.
Can't stress that enough.
Ложи воги, пойди забери. Кришна, залазь. Залазь.
I don't know, man. You know, we're seeing Russians die every day from, you know, we just had there was that 92-year-old guy who was one of the Russian nuclear scientists. He died apparently of suicide. I don't see this war ending. It will end. There's an end to this war. All right, so final video of the day before I get rolling here. TVP has a translation at the end of this video of the first half. And we'll get that other translation, but they also have this absolutely amazing footage of Wounded being extracted from an area after he was, you know, torn up and hit with shrapnel here. We see what an extraction looks like, you know, how quickly they have to do it. So let's get to it here.
Sources. South in the Zaporizhia region.
Yeah, it will end, but not too soon, sadly. We don't know that. The situation that Russia is in is wildly unsustainable, totally untenable. Every single day this goes on. Yes, Panda Man is pointing out that TVP World is a right-wing media apparatus of Polish right-wingers. With that said, they have a hatred for Russia that I've never quite experienced before with any other quote unquote news network. And they cover this topic very well. They're not afraid to show us real footage, and so it's not like the footage is fake, but yeah. I'm not exactly, I don't show TVP World and their analysts too often, right?
Ukraine is continuing offensive operations focused chiefly on Velika Novoselka and Orikhiv areas, where slowly but steadily
definitely take
Ukraine
a grain of
is
salt
retaking
here.
ground. The pace of the advances, however, seems to have slowed down somewhat. President Zelensky has acknowledged the fact and attributed to effective Russian defenses, especially vast minefields covering much of occupied Ukraine. The Wagner Group leader Yevgeny Prigozhin has said that Ukrainian forces have crossed the Dnipro in the area of Holopristan. Should these reports be proven true, it could signify that Ukraine successfully launching a new push in the direction of the Kherson region. Can you grow used to war? Probably not all the way, but from time to time we catch a glimpse of folks so inured to the roar and fury of gunfire and explosions that they no longer make any impression on them.
Yeah. So these guys are like joking around. Good afternoon. That was a civilian, by the way. That was right next to someone, they're firing artillery. This guy's going to get like water from the well or something. Hey, how you doing, man? Incredibly dangerous, because Russia could hit you at any time.
Instead of coming up with a comment for the next footage, let's just quote a medic from the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade. This was a successful assault.
I didn't see the dog.
We took a lot
there was
of
a
land,
dog?
but then everything...
Hold up, I'm sorry. There was a dog?
Probably not all the way, but make...
There was a dog? No shit? Oh, no, look. Yeah, right there. There's the dog. Oh, so cute.
Instead of coming up with a comment for the next footage, let's just quote a medic from the 3rd Separate Assault Brigade. This was a successful assault. We retook a lot of land, but then everything fell apart. The enemy, unable to defeat our infantry, incessantly bombarded us with artillery and aircraft. Unfortunately, we took many casualties, but we managed to evacuate even the most grievously wounded of our men off the battlefield.
Yeah, these guys are just joking around. Poor guy. He's in shock. He's in a lot of pain.
А, блядь, ты живый.
Damn, bro, you're alive.
Все буде офігенно, чуєш? Все буде добре.
Damn.
Тримай, тримай. Плавно, плавно.
They gotta drag this guy around.
Блядь.
Let's make a selfie. You damn zoomers. You zoomers.
Так відбувається евакуація 3-ї окремої штурмової бригади.
Wave your hand. His arm is stuck like this. It's in a brace.
Помахаєш, як заживе.
Wait for the camera, bro. He's
Воду маєте?
totally ripped up.
Є, у мене є в рюкзаку. Так, пацани, вода тільки для...
Water only for the badly injured. These guys are amazing. Just amazing.
Марс, брейк, маліна, зак, в турка. Нормально? І ми дуже сильно скупчились. Піздець, як сильно скупчились. А хто ще іде?
Yeah. So,
Все нормально, ми ще
yeah, so there's a vehicle coming for extraction, and the guy that's in the thing there, he's like, do we have proper coverage for artillery? Right? He doesn't want to get his ass blown up the moment he gets put into the vehicle.
Ми собі ради дамо. Ти в нормі. Все буде.
Yeah. So the medics will draw on the person, indicating what they think is wrong with the person. So here we go. This is what the extraction looks like. Vehicle shows up.
Апарель.
Get this bitch down. Go, 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 go.
Вище, вище, вище голову.
Out the way.
Я виходжу, я виходжу.
All right, move, 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 move.
Ноги поправте!
Рапсоті броню, все, виходь,
Yeah, get the
виходь.
hell away.
Ноги поправте йому. Все, пацани, тікайте.
Go, go, go. And then puts away. This is so funny. This is what he says here. It was high level tactical. This is fucking- No way that was serious.
Це було тактикульно.
In this next video, you'll see a Ukrainian reconnaissance unit surprising the Russians so
Okay, is your jaw securely fastened to your face? So prepare for it to drop, because honestly, the translation is crazier than the footage. It really is. I can't believe these ice cold motherfuckers are running around the battlefield, taking prisoners like this, dude. Just straight up walking up. You know, hey, you want to die today? Okay, guess who's playing along?
hard that they didn't know what
It
hit
was
them.
tactical.
What began as a recon mission ended with troops from the 127th Separate Territorial Defense Brigade taking prisoners without a fight. The whole thing happened just a few kilometers north of Bakhmut.
Wow.
Да, подходи,
Ice
подходи
cold,
сюда.
dude.
Иди сюда.
Come here.
Иди сюда.
So the other guy's got a
Сюда
gun.
иди, подходи.
Right, so
Подходи.
he's got a gun pointed at him.
Давай, гуманитарку сюда, давай. Быстро, сука.
Bitch, quickly.
Сюда, вниз, ко мне. Ко мне,
Yeah.
на меня
Come
иди.
here, come here.
Сева.
And
силуэт.
imagine, you know, do you run?
Silhouette.
Right? Do you pull your gun
Сюда
out?
иди.
You know?
Ты сам?
I mean, think about it. All that training, all that stuff, right? Okay, what am I going to do when I see the enemy? What am I going to do? And then it finally happens, and you're completely like caught off guard, not ready to defend yourself. You know, facing down the barrel of a gun, right? You're not reaching for your sidearm. There's none of that. You're like, oh, I'm screwed. I was just taking a piss, and now I'm completely fucked.
Ты сам?
Crazy.
Пидор, ты один? Сюда иди ко мне. Быстро шляпа,
Ice
бегом.
cold, man.
Где оружие, сука? Пидорас.
And they could
Ой,
be
иди сюда.
killed at any moment,
Ко мне.
right? A buddy, some fellow soldier following him.
Иди сюда, ко мне. Понял, куда попал? Понял. Сел. Где еще кто-то? Сел, на землю садись. На
No,
землю.
he asked him, "Do you understand that you're now being taken by Ukraine?"
Были, они не дошли.
Смотри, сука.
No,
На меня
no.
смотри.
Look at me.
Куда они не дошли? Сева, контроль.
How many? Where are they at?
То есть они вот там по прямой за спиной у нас, да?
Да, у меня за спиной.
У тебя за спиной вот там вот 50 метров пидоры. Правильно? Ну, русские.
Русские.
Все. Сколько их человек?
Там половина побила,
Сколько человек, сука?
около 40.
He was getting mad because he was kind of giving him a coy answer. You know, I don't know, half our soldiers are dead. How many fucking people are over there, right?
Сколько человек, сука?
Около 40.
No, I don't know,
Мы
40.
сейчас тебе повесим на спину.
Right. That's probably all the people like all the way down the trench line, right?
На спину устройство.
So here's where they tell them they're going to hang a device and give them, you know, it's going to blow up. Here's all the rules.
Будешь делать то, что мы
It's
тебе
a
скажем.
stick. Oh,
Мы
that's
тебя
fucking
заберем, потом
brilliant.
обменяем, домой поедешь. Ты понял?
He's like, yeah, if you play along.
Поворачивайся ко мне спиной. Спиной поворачивайся, туда смотри. Поворачивайся, поворачивайся.
That's so funny. Yeah, so they're they're velcroing the
Granate.
stick.
Да, да, я аккуратно. Радиодетонатор. Поставь действие. Километр. Снимаю. Сейчас
Oh, that's so funny. It kind of reminds me. Everyone seen The Wire?
поставил.
Bunk did this to one of the perps.
Все, у тебя кнопка. Все, есть. Смотри, мы тебе сейчас все покажем, Серый, и все будет нормально. Вернешься ко мне, я сниму
We'll take
детонатор,
off the
понял?
detonator,
Ты
okay?
видишь, что мы ультрасовременные войска по сравнению с вами.
So that is funny. He's like, don't you see we're really high tech? Do you see that we're modern troops instead of you? Just reinforcing that, you know, we're fully equipped for this.
Видишь, что мы ультрасовременные войска по сравнению с вами. Вставай. Вставай, все, не бойся. Вставай, просто на спину не облокачивайся.
See if we can get a good look at the stick.
Можно закурить, пожалуйста? Можно, да.
Can I please smoke?
Да кури, давай. Ну, все можно, оно там крепко зафиксировано. Что ты, очкуешь или что? Не очкуй, закуривай. Жить будешь, мы так 100 раз делали, Серега. Жизнь у тебя может быть длинная и счастливая.
And once again, I just can't get over how stone fucking cold the Ukrainian soldier is in handling all this. I mean, this guy has got to be shitting bricks. What do you think? What, you know, this is it, dude. I mean, you know, like, fuck, I'm captured by the enemy. Well, and also it works for the ruse, right? Because, you know, he's chilling, he's smoking, fellow Russian soldiers. It's all good, right? It totally, you know, works for the ruse as well. If he's all uptight and he's all like, you know, being taken hostage, it doesn't work as well. So it's actually quite brilliant. And like, I just like, these guys are in danger. Okay. They could be shot at any moment. This is not a game.
Давай лучше потихоньку. Кубик. А? Контроль. Кубик.
Okay, Murder Com. Great contribution to the conversation. Yeah, so there it is. There's another look at it right there. That's a stick, dude. That is a flippin' stick. It's so funny. That is so fucking funny. And I know. I'm sorry. Oh, all right. Oh, boo. Where's the rest? So I'm sure TVP World will translate and give us the rest, probably, like I said, tomorrow. I can't wait to see the whole translated video. It's just mind-blowing. Just mind-blowing. Right? Just mind-blowing. Explosive stick used for U.S. biolaboratory. Hey, man, the West has some pretty amazing toys. We got all them fancy toys. All right, folks. Once again, I would like to express my deepest and sincere, you know, feelings of sorrow to the victims of the sub disaster. I don't care how rich you were, how stupid you are. Nobody deserves to die in a violent implosion. I don't know, maybe Hitler. But anyway, that's very, very sad. And I'm sorry for the family. And then there you go, YouTube. That is the Ukrainian update for today. We'll see you again on Saturday.